My name is Crew O'Brien. Started the Kentucky Pro Bass Warrior April of 2012. And the whole ideal was a way of giving back as a volunteer. Our organization has grown from doing 9 trips a year, March through November. And it's a free trip for every veteran, wounded, and active soldier now.
Crew O'Brien, the founder himself, he's actually a professional fisherman. So he went and pulled all of his friends and said, hey, I want to do this. Will you guys help me out? And so today, for instance, we had 20 boats that showed up, and the boaters are actually professional fishermen. They actually fish on the fishing circuit. Some have been all the way up to FLW, which is the big circuit, and some are local, but they all are professional fishermen, and they all take it serious. It's a lot of fun.
1138.
So over 4 years now, we average anywhere at each event from 30 to 65, maybe sometimes 70 at each event.
Boat number 6,
Boat 6. Patting the ball. Go ahead and dump them in there.
Our organization is made up of 5 board members, and we have 12 veteran pro staff team members that fish tournaments, help get the word out about the organization, get more veterans and more volunteers to come. And we all volunteer. No one gets paid. We give back to the organization 100%.
With a whopping, woo!
253.
253.
Most of the veterans come, especially when it started with the Wounded Warrior program, they had a lot of guys there had different issues, and it was a big stress reliever. They come out, all we ask you to do is come out and fish. We gather up the funds, different organizations help us pay for it, and so their only obligation is to come out, fish, and have a good time. Talk a little trash, we feed them, make sure the transportation is there for them, and every veteran, as you've seen today, left with a brand new reel and rod that's worth over $100, and that's all donated to us by Lose Rod and Reels. At every event, they do the same thing, so it's awesome.
You know, our trips are based on 0 cost. They show up, doesn't cost them a penny, okay? So Kentucky Fish and Wildlife helps out by exempting their license for the day. If it's 2 days or 3 days, you know, I just have to send an email in. They send an email back, and each boat captain has to have that email exempting that person. But the boat captain still has to have a license, okay? But I think that's so great because that keeps it still at a 0 cost trip for them. The whole program, Kentucky Pro Bass Warrior, wouldn't work if we didn't have volunteers that have boats. Mostly it's local guys, you know, that do local tournaments, you know, and it's great because they have the skill to teach them too, you know. So, and then, you know, a lot of times they'll have equipment, like if it's the first time people, they don't have equipment, a lot of times the volunteers will share, or we have equipment that we can loan them. When I first started, I really never got into the part of like asking a veteran or a wounded soldier what it's like to be in combat, you know. Sometimes they don't want to talk about that. You know, it's not really what it's about. It's about taking them out, teaching them what they want to learn. But some of them, you know, when they're out there, you know, they just talk about normal things, what they did today, you know, who's your favorite team, or, you know, they have questions about fishing, you know. And if they want to talk about war, then they'll do that, especially if a volunteer is a veteran and he's an older veteran, you got a younger one, well, then they change stories, you know, like this was like in this war versus what this war was, you know.
It builds camaraderie. When you've got other soldiers that have been doing it for a while and they're bringing in newcomers and things like that, like myself, you get to gain new friendship from other soldiers, and you have a common bond even though you've never met them before.
It's all about building the military. It doesn't matter where you come from, where you started, what are you doing now, what you did when you were in the military. It's the fact that we're all military. We're all, and some of the guys are Navy, some are Air Force. But at the end of the day, we all love our country, and we did what we did as volunteers. Although I'm retired, I still get to bond with soldiers, and we all go out and we all have a good time together. And catch fish.
Well, I think fishing is kind of a way of relaxing, but I think with the wounded and the veterans, I think it's like more of a therapy day out where they can get away from their everyday life, a day just to come out and forget about what they've gone through, their rehabs, and you know, just what they've had to go through when they were at war and stuff. I think it's a day that there's no stress, you know, and it's a great way of meeting new veterans, new soldiers, volunteers, great camaraderie when we come to, like, when we do a 2-day event. We have cookouts, and that's a great part. You just see the camaraderie between the younger veterans, the younger soldiers, and the older veterans. You know, we've had World War II veterans out, Korean vets, paralyzed veterans, the younger generation veterans and soldiers. So I just think it's a great way to communicate and get along. And I know that it has helped a number of them, and they got involved, they loved it. Next thing you know, they're out buying a boat, buying equipment. We've had some that got into tournament fishing on their own after they came out on our trips, and we still have them coming out. So, you know, it just shows that they enjoy it. They want to be around their fellow veterans and other fishermen, you know. It's just something about fishermen. They kind of all get along so well, you know. And I think it's, you know, the being on the water and the thrill of that fish between you and that hook and the line, you know. One day, you know, you win because you get the fish in, and then in another day it breaks off or the fish gets off and they win, you know. But the great thing about it, you can catch a fish and let it go, and you can catch it again another day.